Welcome, fight fans, to episode 26 of the Hooks In podcast. Happy New Year. We survived 2020, made it to 2021, so let's kick things off, guys. We got a great episode coming up and a great fight night this Saturday night. Our first guest is actually fighting this weekend. He's on the prelims. His name is David Sagat Zawada. He's on the early prelims, so make sure to tune into him as he's looking to keep his win streak going. Next, we've got a fight here on Friday. I'm not sure the exact time because it's UAE Warriors 15, but we do have Louis, the Mad Prince, Jourdain, joining the show. He's looking to make an impression there at UAE Warriors to hopefully get the call up to the big show. I think Dana White's going to be in attendance as the next few events are on Fight Island. So it's going to be a great little showcase for the Mad Prince here. Hot headline news. We've got a couple topics. Not so much any recaps this week as it's starting fresh on the new year. But we are going to be talking a bit about marijuana becoming legal, both by USADA and the UFC, which is a big, announcement after years and years of fighters getting no contests, disqualified, and all sorts of reprimands. Additionally, talking about reprimands, Dana White's been talking about cracking down on illegal streamers. We're going to dig into that topic as it's quite mainstream for people to be doing that. And then finally, getting ahead of that book, we've got our Easy Line segment showcasing the Holloway and Kattar fight night. It's going to be a great one with Carlos Condit and Matt Brown also on the card. And we've got some great value picks to share with the faithful. So starting things off with hot headline news, Zoni, kick us off.
Yeah, so welcome into 2020 here, or 2021, sorry, and let's get rid of 2020. What a disaster year. Some things are on the uprise here. Hopefully in the new year, we got, the vaccine coming, and obviously sports are, in abundance right now. We got NFL playoffs coming up this weekend. We got a UFC fight night card. NHL started this week last night, and the NBA is in full effect here. So just, the fact that those things are running, mental health and just sitting on the couch and watching some sports here is huge for us. Moving forward though, excited to talk about those guests that will be on in the coming weeks. Early next week, we're going to have a couple rollouts of fighters fighting on the second card of 2021. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll have 3 interviews, and we'll also have some easy line picks just before that Wednesday card as well. Looking forward to that. In terms of our hot headline news here, we're talking about the illegal streaming. I'll throw out that there first. Dana White saying there's a special, he's got something special in store for any viewers that are streaming illegally. When you look at last year and some people, not being able to work, and then, obviously you're talking about inflation and stuff like that. It's already pretty expensive to buy a pay-per-view card. We try to order them when we can, when there's big fight nights, but it's not feasible, especially with all the cards last year, to pay $65 every couple of weeks. It just doesn't make sense. And I'll be first and foremost, to be honest about that. And now they upped it $5. And now they're saying for a McGregor card, which usually, is as hyped as any card in history, that they're going to, find a way to penalize the people that are streaming. I don't know what you guys think, but I think the number one thing is, the people generating those sites, the creators, the people that are getting the word out on their sites that they're going to be illegally pirating and streaming those fights. You're talking about crack streams and Billa Sport and, a few others that we could talk about, grandma streams and Reddit and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, don't put too much heat on them now. Let's go.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't want to put.
Yeah,
don't name them all.
Easy now. Yeah, leave some for fucking.
If anybody wants to DM me, I'll send them a couple separate ones I didn't mention that are underdog ones that won't get caught. I don't think so. It's unfortunate that it went up in price. It's hard to pay $70 every couple of weeks. It doesn't make a lot of sense for everyone, especially the average fan. We're avid fans and we don't even want to do that. So what about a guy or a girl that wants to tune in every couple of months to see a big card. They're not going to be doing it either. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I got a couple of thoughts on that. My first is that Dana's not doing anything. Like, think about how much pirating is out there right now, when just in TV shows and movies and stuff like that, they have way more money than Dana White and the UFC does. And they haven't been successful at shutting it down. And a lot of them don't even care. HBO, they were just talking about Game of Thrones being the most pirated show in history. And that couldn't have been better for them, because that generated so much more interest. And then you get those side businesses coming out, like merchandise, all that crap. If you start cutting people off that they can't find a way to watch it, you lose out on all those other income sources. You just get people losing interest, and interest is good when it comes to these sports. You'd never have Conor McGregor if you didn't have 100,000 people follow it, or 100 million people following his Instagram. And that these are people that are seeing him by pirating the UFC cards. And I think it would be a huge mistake. I understand where Dana's coming from, but I think it would kind of be a mistake on his part. He would lose a lot of fans. There'd be less people tuning in for the ESPN shows and stuff like that. What are your thoughts, Z?
Yeah, no, I kind of think even if he wanted to stop it, he couldn't, right? Like, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a new website. There's always going to be a new crack streams. That's the thing. Even the night of the fight, right? They sometimes they shut down crack streams or whatever, some of the top ones. You can always find a new one, right? There's always, if you're willing to find it, you can find it, right? So there's going to be always guys that are going to be pirating. You're never going to stop every URL. You're not going to be able to shut down every URL out there that's streaming it, right? So I definitely do think they make some efforts to kind of to mitigate it, right, or slow it down a little bit, I guess I should say. But like you said, at the end of the day, it's those people aren't going to buy it anyways for them, so they know, hey, just let it happen a little bit. They're not too hot on it, and that gets our name out there, more marketing, more people watching anyways. So the people that are going to buy it are going to buy it anyways, so they know that. So they don't, I don't think they worry about it that much at the end of the day, certainly. But that's what I kind of think about it.
Franz?
Yeah, agree with the first couple views. Absolutely. I think they need to do the opposite. They need to encourage viewership however it happens, illegally, paid. Now, if it is paid, provide more value, give more content, give different interviews or a replay available for a certain amount of time. Like, they need to be a little more creative in their marketing and their ideas than purely saying, oh, we've got a surprise and trying to scare people. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, think about this. A lot of places in the world right now are in a lockdown. I remember a couple of years ago, we'd all get together for a big pay-per-view. There's 10 of us and we all chip $5, $10. If you're on a curfew and you're locked down in your house, you're not going to want to pay $70 all to yourself. I think they're missing like small things like that are really big deals. They've got all these sponsors on the Octagon. You can see my virtual background, right? Bud Light, all these things. If you're illegally watching, you're still seeing that Bud Light advertisement. You're still going out and buying Bud Light, the same as you would with the pay-per-view. I think Dana needs to leverage that with his advertising. I guess he's their customer. So those brands paying the UFC money to put their logo all everywhere, he should open it up and say, hey, instead of now 2 million pay-per-view buys, we've got 20 million illegal streamers and you've got eyes on your product. Like, I think they really need to get smarter and spin this to their advantage instead of like, oh, we're going to crack down on you. Like, come on, you guys are cutting fighters because you don't have enough payroll for your budget. Like, let's be serious now.
Dana, get this guy on your marketing team. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, nobody's adding anything to that. I think we should finish off on that. Boy, that was fantastic. And if they're not listening to that, they can shut the fuck up.
On to the next one. I think what I wanted to talk about there was Nate Diaz coming back, the announcement by Dana White. And I don't know what you guys thought of in terms of the matchups, but at first people were discussing, I think Ferguson, Dana White came out and said, that's a confirmed no. And, before they were talking about gauging Oliveira, that was kind of the talk, the matchup. Now Justin has kind of strangely gone silent a little bit here the last couple of weeks. And I think that's because that's the fight they are negotiating is a Gaethje and Nate Diaz fight for, later in the spring or summer. And, I think that's fan-friendly fight, certainly, but not a good one for Nate Diaz. I think that's a bad matchup in terms of those leg kicks. He's heavy on that front foot all the time. So, I think that's a bad matchup. I'd rather see him go up against Tony Ferguson, fan-friendly, and a little bit of a more competitive matchup. But, yeah, that's who I kind of think they're looking at right now for Nate Diaz.
I think you might be spot on in that. I just hope out of all this chaos, and obviously everybody knows Nate Diaz, I hope if that fight does get made, that Charles Oliveira doesn't get left in the sand. He better be facing the winner of Poirier and Connor next weekend. I really hope so, because if they think that Diaz and Gaethje, like the winner will fight the winner of that fight next weekend, like Oliveira deserves it, man. Like really, like he's right next in line. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Or how does Dan Hooker and Chandler fit into that mix as well, right? Like I guess, well, let's say whatever, Chandler goes out there, I don't know, somehow knocks out like Hooker all of a sudden. Well, they have a hard on for Chandler already, it seems like, UFC and Dana White. So maybe they put him up against Connor right away or something, right? So
yeah, I think if Chandler wins, then maybe you could convince Oliveira to be that number one contender fight. Whoever wins that will fight the winner of Poirier or Connor.
You know what sucks is all of these guys are going to lose. All these possible contenders to fight McGregor if he wins, they all lose because now the UFC has 7 guys they can leverage off of each other and go, who wants to fight? This is what I'm offering.
Who wants that red panty night? Take that cheap red panty night.
This is what you get. Somebody's going to pull a Gilbert Burns and accept half the price of the next guy.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Interested to see for sure. A couple of good matchups. What was the other topic we said at the beginning?
So it's related to Diaz because he was the number one suspect. The marijuana ban being lifted, right? So
it leads into that nicely.
Yeah, clearly not a performance enhancing drug. So this is, a few years past due, but it's nice that it's finally lifted. And I guess my open question to the group is, how do you think this affects things going forward? Do you see more brand deals with CBD companies and all this marketing side, business side? What do you think happens?
Well, you know what I see lining up with this? The return of Nick Diaz at the same time as marijuana being legalized by USADA in the UFC. I don't know. I think something's going on there.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on.
I actually think you're quite right. That was actually a big reason why they've actually made it legal now. I do believe is exactly what you said, Kranz, is all these deals, marketing deals now with these CBD oils, all these companies, right? Because it's true. I mean, it is really helpful in terms of recovery, right? And all that type of stuff. Obviously the THC, not as much, but the CBD certainly. It's, and as you said, it's not performance enhancing. It's great in terms of recovery. So why wouldn't they leverage that? Why wouldn't they, and I think it's a match made in heaven in terms of 2 different brands, right? UFC and these weed companies, right? Both kind of alternative, I don't know, media or hobbies, if you will, type of thing, right? So, but they're both becoming more mainstream now, slowly but surely, right? More of these states are legalizing it. Obviously UFC is getting bigger here. So I think it's great. It's awesome to see and a great decision.
Yes.
Mike Tyson. Talking about it during or after.
Being stoned fight against Roy.
Helped his performance.
That was weeks ago, right? So
Sugar Sean, Nico Price, the Diaz's, all big names, big exciting fighters. And we talked about this earlier. If you look at the NFL, if you allowed people to smoke marijuana or CBD as recovery, you're not going to get the linebackers that have 8 concussions and whatever injury to take morphines and fucking Percocets and oxys and cortisones. That's not really the way to go. That gets them addicted. That gets them fucked up in the head. That gets them long-term out of the league earlier. If CBD was part of it, the recovery is as good, if not better, than the things I just mentioned. And also the long-term effects have been shown to be way less taxing on the body. It's not an addiction thing. It's not now that it's legal, it's something that they should be allowing. So this is a huge step. I think it is a couple years overdue, like you said, Kronz, but happy to see it, and following all these fighters on Instagram, trying to get like these interviews and stuff. They post almost daily. Like we just had Gina Mazzani and Tim Elliott on the show in the last month, and both of them in the last few weeks have posted multiple pics of CBD oil promoting their companies. They use it for recovery. So like, this is where it's going. This is where it's heading. It's mainstream, like you guys said, and it's a fantastic decision.
So here's the only other thing that I heard. I was reading some stuff from a Nowitzki interview where he was talking about it, Jeff Nowitzki, and he was saying that USADA and the UFC are on board right now, but the commissions aren't. So there's still a disconnect there. So, and they still have to report their findings. So USADA can choose to not punish them and not ban them like nationwide, basically in the US, but they could still be in Nevada and get banned, and Nevada could still overturn those to no contests and stuff like that. And which is crazy. Nevada is apparently one of the hardest against marijuana, and Sin City is their biggest source of income. Why would you not want that?
It's legal though, recreational in Nevada, which is counterintuitive. Like to your point, like
yeah, for sure.
It's a head scratcher, right?
And then what happens to guys like Nico Price? Just getting do they overturn those suspensions? Do those suspensions stand now? What happens? Is he going to fight?
I don't know if there could be retro on that, because like they could go back years and years and years.
Oh, you're exonerated.
It should be today. Now you're eligible to fight. You don't have to serve out the full 6 months.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. That's spot on. But I don't think they can change a no contest something like for 5 years before or 3 years.
No.
Well, yeah, you could fight right away. I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what would be crazy if they did is Nick Diaz would have a win over Anderson Silva, because they both tested positive. Silva for steroids, Diaz for weed, and if that got overturned, he would technically win. Steroids are still illegal.
But at the end of the day, they still kicked Anderson out of the company. So yeah, let's get ahead of that fucking book.
Yeah, got about 20 minutes or so left. Big fight night here, starting off at Fight Island, Holloway and Kattar. Z-Ball, you've been doing homework all winter break here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've been on a nice holiday here, and Happy New Year to everyone. But back fresh, rejuvenated, itching to bet on a few fights here. So I hope everyone's excited as much as I am. I'm your host, Ben Easy Line Zemans, and let's jump into some. Oh, actually, before we jump into the fights this weekend, I want to kind of recap our performance from last year very quickly. We ended up with 87 wins and 52 losses, including all our locks, standard, and value bets, coming out to a rate of 62.6%. That's a long-term rate that we're very happy with here at Easy Lines, but certainly not satisfied. And we want to continue to bring our viewers and clients the best service that we can. So this year we're committing to a win rate of 65%, or at least a goal of that rate for 2021. Certainly a large leap, from what we were doing before, but not certainly achievable as well, as we continue to learn more about the fighters and kind of get used to this whole COVID situation as well. We're going to look to focus on a fewer fights and really make sure we're putting the work in behind the scenes for you guys, and make sure these picks are consistent results, and therefore more money in your pocket, right? So on our lock picks last year, we were 11 wins, 2 losses. Listen for those picks. A lot of those are minus, 150s, 160s, 120s. So they only come once every 2 or 3 events. Unfortunately, I don't have one for tonight, but there is a hard lock coming up for next week's event. So be ready for that, and tune in for next week's episode. So
I wonder what that one is. I'm just trying to envision what that
is. Oh, yeah. Well, you have to find out. Like I said, you got to find out. We'll leave that. But you'll see. Jumping into this week's action, though, can't get ahead of that, because this card looks pretty entertaining as well. The main event fights a featherweight bout between Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar, or Kattar, I guess I should say, right? Listen, I have ancestors from Britain. It's pronounced Kattar, but this guy says he's the New England cartel or something like that now. So we'll go with the American version here. Kattar, I'm gonna mess it up. But Max, he's coming in as a slight favorite at minus 160. Kattar, underdog. of course, at plus 130. I'm taking Holloway in this one. His last fight against Volkanovski was very close, and most people thought, Max actually won that fight. He showed his technical kickboxing skills have gotten even better. He's utilizing more kicks, that same boxing accuracy that he's always had. Certainly his chin is still there at this point as well, but how long can it hold out? And listen, Kattar, he's a very, very good boxer, excellent boxer, probably the best in this weight class, but, he wasn't able to put away Dan Ige. Ige even got a round or two over Kattar as well, I would say. So a little closer fight than I was even expecting there. And Max has been in there with some of the best guys out there, right, for several years. So yeah, Kattar punches real hard for this division, but Max has been in 5-round fights back and forth with Dustin Poirier. And, he didn't really ever seem to be really in a lot of danger in there with Dustin. Yes, Dustin's a much bigger, stronger guy who's top 3 in his division, with ridiculous pressure and skills. So, I'm not too worried about Max in this one. The only thing is, where's Max's chin at, right? He's been in some wars before. Kattar is still dangerous for him in there. That's why I'm not going so hard on this fight personally, but certainly a unit or two. I don't think Max's chin is done. He's 29 years old, right? And obviously, as I said, he still looked great against Alex. He's took off enough time in between fights here. He's not rushing. Apparently, he doesn't even spar that much anymore during training. I saw in that Ariel Helwani interview, he's not having as many wars in the training room anymore. So my main play here is Max Holloway decision plus 137. That looks like excellent value to me. Max has never been a power puncher before. He's all about volume. So I'm leaning on Max already to win. So that looks like excellent value to me. If you truly want to go the other way with Kattar, his length and reach, him by finish plus 150. But again, I'm not going there. I'm going on Max. Main play is 137. Put a unit or two on that by decision. Money line as well is going to be in a few 2 or 3 leg parlays. I do like the over in this fight, but there's absolutely no value on it. Over 2.5 rounds is a minus 300. I'm not going to go there. Fight to go to the distance, minus 188. If you want to put that into your main parlay, maybe. But if you don't really believe Max is going to win for sure, and you want to do that, that looks a little safe. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
I was talking with Zone actually the other night about this fight, and I think it's Holloway's footwork that gets it done. People are high on Kattar because he knocked out Stevens with that huge elbow, stuff like that. Stevens isn't known for his footwork, but who is known for stuff like that is Zabit. And until Zabit got really tired, Zabit outclassed him, and Kattar couldn't keep up with the footwork. So I think Max moves around the outside. I think he picks him apart for 5 rounds, maybe 49-46, Holloway.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I'm not offering anything. I'm just huge Max Holloway fan, so hoping he gets the W. But I do actually think he wins. I think it's by decision. I couldn't agree more with you guys.
Yeah, let's go, Max. Let's get it. See you at the cashier.
Great dude too.
Yeah, let's get to the window there with Max. I think that's a solid bet there in the main event. So going up next, co-main event, we got 2 UFC veterans. It's a great matchup, I think, as well, between Carlos Condit and Matt Brown. Another entertaining one for sure. Condit comes in as a slight favorite as well, minus 170. Brown at a plus 140. I'm taking the favorite again in this fight as well. I agree. Condit has the better skills at this point, and he will even be able to, potentially finish Matt Brown within, 2 or 3 rounds, I think. For me, it's easy, kind of. Like, Condit has a chin right now. Matt Brown doesn't have that much of a chin at this point. Condit's younger at 36 years old as well. Brown's 40. Condit definitely has the better striking at this point as well. I don't think Brown will be able to take Condit down. That's really only been Condit's weakness. He's been submitted a few times by guys in recent years, but by guys like Chesia, and Maya as well. But Brown, he's not going to be able to get him there like those guys are. And it's going to stay on the feet, and Condit's going to pick him apart. So Condit money line. It's my main pick here. It's tough to say for sure if he finishes him or not. But I'm taking a look at Matt Brown's record here, And his last 7 fights, none of them have reached decision. Only 3 of them were wins for him. 2 of them were against, you know, a very old Ben Saunders and like Diego Sanchez, who's kind of really fallen off lately. You know what I mean? So, you know, Condit by finish plus 200 looks, I'm starting to lean towards now. You know, 3 rounds, Brown does have a chance to last that long, but I think it's close. Condit, 3rd round finish plus 1200. Beauty value pick to me. You know, fight not to go to the distance, minus 120 as well. Again, maybe, you know, Brown catches him, but like, I don't think that even happens. But I don't think this fight goes all the way personally. But yeah, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, just to reference Diego Sanchez there, you know, your life has fallen off when you started an OnlyFans fucking thing and you look like he does. Anyways, I couldn't agree more about Condit winning. So I agree with you there. But what I will say is, you know, Brown said this is his last fight, most likely of his career. So I think he kind of goes out on his shield. But I think Condit by decision plus 200, I'm liking. I know what you said about Brown, you know, not reaching the distance, but I think in his last fight, he'll just be that much more, you know, he's got that much more energy and whatever behind him that he survives. And Condit, you know, he fought not Neil Magny. He fought Court McGee last and looked really good. And that also went 3 rounds. But Court McGee isn't fantastic either. I thought he should finish that. So in this point of his career, my personal pick, I agree with you with Condit, but is the decision at plus 200. Matt Brown goes out on his shield, he retires, but just doesn't have enough to get it done at his age and all the wars he's gone through. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, I've got nothing to add to that. That's good, boys.
Go Condit.
Yeah, no, I was gonna to add on to that zone quickly. You know what? My gut feeling actually was the decision. After I started looking into it more, you know, that Matt Brown, you know, all his finishes started swaying me the other way. But you know what? Now I'm starting to sway back to the decision now. So I think at the end of the day, money line is the sure bet there. You know, like I said, parlay that with Max by decision, or you know, even for that fight to go to decision if you don't believe Max is going to be able to outbox Kattar for sure. But yeah, I think that's you know, that's a tough call, as I said, you know, in terms of the finish or not. But certainly Condit, I think, you know, he's got that win either way.
I think so.
So yeah, last one for me of the night I'll jump into here. So Santiago Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio. There we go.
That's Zone's boy right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, he's going up against Jing Lane, sorry. And Santiago, you know, substantial favorite at minus 300. Lee is plus 240. You know, I'm taking Santiago in this one, of course. You know, he has, as you know, the kind of UFC OG fans a little bit, you know he hasn't fought since 2018, but they know he's the real deal, man. Super powerful at this weight class, so explosive and aggressive. Very scary guy to be in there with, for sure. But he's had some injury issues, right, the last couple of years. That's why he hasn't been in there. But, you know, I don't expect it to slow him down too much in this fight. But, you know, he is 34 years old now. You know, first fight back. You know, there might be a little rust on there. You know, it sounds cliche, but I think it's a little true in this, you know, in my opinion, this situation. You know, Lee, on the other hand, he's got one hell of a chin, man. I think Santiago will land on him, but Lee's not going to go down easy. Santiago Santiago wasn't able to finish Neil Magny till the 4th round. And I have to believe that Lee's chin is better than Neil's at this point. Again, Santiago was 3 years older now as well, and not like a run like he was on before. So Santiago to win, certainly a money line parlay, but by decision, plus 187 looks like good value to me. The over 2.5 rounds at minus 120 looks good to me as well. I like leaving that half round in there at the end because, you know, maybe Santiago ends up wearing him down a little bit and finishing him at the end of the 3rd round, maybe eventually. But, you know, I'm going on that, you know, probably not happening here. But again, I don't know. Santiago money line. What are you guys thinking?
Spot on, Z. I really like that. one of our Hooks In alum, Christoph Jotko, who has his one of his fights postponed because of injury. He'll be fighting early in 2021 here. Told me he trains with Ponzinibbio, and he said that he visited him in the hospital and checked in on him to see how he's doing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was some kind of like blood disease or something like that.
Bone infection.
Was it bone infection?
Bone infection.
And he said he walked in there and he looked like a crackhead that was using for like a month straight. Like, he looked all frail and he lost all this weight and he was laying in bed and he looked all fucked up and he was like shaking and stuff. He said him coming back from this is like unbelievable. So
Tyrone Biggums.
Yeah. Being off for a couple years like that and going through something like that is insane. I just don't think, I see, like you said, with Lee having a good chin, I don't think he finishes him because like it's just enough getting back and fighting. I think he does win because his skill set is ultimately better than Lee's, but it's going to be really tough to finish someone within 15 minutes there when you've gone through such a fucking thing like that, right? So I couldn't agree more with you. I think he does win. He's back in the win column. I think that makes it 8 in a row for him, but I don't think he finishes him within the 15 minutes.
Yeah, I got nothing to. I was going to say the same thing, but regardless, that puts him right back in the top 10. To come back from something that crazy, if he does pull off the win, which I think he's going to, man, legendary comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be exciting. Cool.
Yep.
So looking at the prelims, maybe any value bets, any hidden sleepers?
I got to get 2 to add quick here, if that's okay.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay, so 2020 knockout of the year, Joaquin Buckley. Okay, coming in and fighting a guy weirdly on a 3-fight losing streak, so they're clearly trying to build him up. Alessio Di Chirico. This guy's lost 3 decisions in a row. Well, we've talked in the past about somebody that's coming and fighting and that's lost 3 in a row. If he loses again, he's getting cut. So I feel like this guy's going to take a lot more risks than he normally does, because if he doesn't and he loses a 4th decision, he's done. He's gone. So I think Buckley actually catches him here, and it's a -105 for Buckley to finish. We've obviously seen his power. He can finish. He gave Holland a good fight until he got caught, but that was on short notice, and that was his first UFC fight. I think Joaquin Buckley parlays his 2020 knockout of the year with a -105 finish of Di Chirico, and I think that gets him cut from the UFC. There's no way he can come out and just play it safe for 15 minutes, losing 3 in a row, knowing he's going to get cut after. He's going to take a risk. He's going to get caught, and that's my pick for that one. -105 finish.
Yeah, to jump in there, Zone. I definitely I didn't get to do a full analysis of that one, but I definitely agree with that one as well. Alessio, I think the only reason why they didn't cut him was because he accepted this fight, I believe. I think the UFC were like, either you take this fight against Buckley or we're cutting you anyway. So he was like, fuck it, all right. I want another payday, right? So he's going out, like you said, he's going out there, gonna try put on a show. And they're feeding Buckley basically for some reason. I don't know why. Like, they do this sometimes. It's so weird with some of their stars. They like, some guys they'll give them the hardest guy right out the gate for some reason. 2 fights in, they'll give a top 10 guy. Other times they'll feed guys like cans for 5 fights for some reason, and then they'll start doing it. So I don't know how they decide that. I don't know. Maybe they're smarter than me. I can't figure it out, but. So anyways, I like Buckley. All that to say, Buckley -105. I'm on board with that as well. Parlay that with some of the things we spoke about before. I think that looks nicely.
And you're comparing that to basically Khamzat Chimaev. He crushes off 2 cans and then they give him a top 5 in Edwards, right? That's
it doesn't make sense.
Makes no sense. My third pick here, because I agree with you on one of the earlier ones here, is it opens up the main card. So it was one of Dana White's, if you don't know now, you know, fights, 2 undefeated guys. You don't see this very often. So Punahele Soriano and Dusko Todorovic. I think they mitigate each other. I think this is a fight where these guys are so skilled. There's big prospects. They're not going to look for a quick first round finish. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to feel each other out. It is my +162 to go the distance. These guys have a lot on the line. I don't think they overextend themselves. And when it's 2 guys with zeros in their loss column, you got a lot to lose, right? people don't know, like MMA fighters, when they lose their first time, it's like something they've never felt before. They feel like, you know, I was invincible before, and now I lose. I think these guys take this fight like, I'm going to try to beat them everywhere. I'm not going to risk too much. And I think it goes 3 rounds, and the better prospect is going to end up winning. But I think it goes the full 3 rounds is plus 162. I love that. Love that play.
Love it.
Beautiful.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I think we're good now, Crons.
Yeah, I guess just to look at early prelims, we've got our boy David Zawada. He's a big dog, plus 225. Might be some value hidden there. And then Josh and I were talking a bit about Phil Hawes. Had an impressive knockout late in the year. He's a minus 138 favorite against a Russian fighter not too familiar with. But I am liking Hawes there money line. I feel like he put on a impressive performance, and I don't think he stops there. I think he's got some left in the tank, and he's really going to impress again. But otherwise, stick around for these 2 episodes. I got my Polish beer here for Zawada. We've got that special episode coming early next week because, just to remind you, we have the Wednesday night fight night out of Fight Island. So keep your eyes posted for some more picks and some great interviewees on next week's show as well. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Good luck this weekend. And as always, get ahead of that book.
Woo. Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, really lucky to have UFC welterweight. He's got a big fight on January 16th. David Sagat Zawada, how's it going today?
Hey, thank you. I'm very good. And yeah. Merry Christmas to everyone.
yeah. First off, Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. I know you're just visiting with your parents. So
yes.
Do you have a good visit?
Yes, my brother was also there. And yesterday, on the Christmas Eve, I was by my sister, and it's a time to get close with the family, because I was in the training, for my upcoming fight, and it's not so much time to see friends or family, so good to have the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, and especially with what we've gone through in 2020, family is like awesome. Nothing else, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're training out of Dusseldorf, right?
Yes, Düsseldorf, Germany, yeah.
And were you born there or a different part of Germany?
I'm also born here. I grew up here in Germany, but my family's all from Poland, so I have Polish roots. And it's this mix.
What got you into MMA, and what age did you start training?
Training I start when I finished 18 years, before I play soccer. I also was good soccer player, but didn't get it to a pro. So my brother was training like 3-5 years before with mixed martial arts, but here in Germany it was like very, very, very it was underground, nobody knows it. It becomes like new, they call it free fight before, and then one day my brother took me to the training, and I start to train with him, and it makes me fun, and why not? It was something new for me, because I knew before boxing, I was also boxing or kickboxing. I like to watch K1. At the time was K1, the Grand Prix, and I love to watch it. But I never was like, okay, I go no training, because I had in my mind, I want to be a soccer player, but then it's couldn't happen, and my brother took me to mixed martial arts. And it was something different. Also, the kickboxing style, boxing style was also in there, but the grappling, and this makes me really fun, and yeah.
Yeah, I like the way you put that, because even myself, I didn't start playing soccer till a few years ago. But in life, like, you have different challenges, right? Like once you peak out at a certain sport or something, you want to try something new. So MMA came to you, and it's worked out well for you. So what's the name of your gym, and who are the coaches in your corner for your upcoming fight?
Yeah, UFD gym. It's like it's short name for University of Fighting in Düsseldorf. And my head coach and mixed martial arts head coach is Ivan Hippolyte. For everybody who watches kickboxing, he's a known name, a K1 legend. Um, my brother is coached me as well, Martin Zawada. He's also fighting. He fights 30 January, so it was good. You know, we could prepare also a bit time together. Also, my grappling trainer this time joined in the camp. Gleison Tibau was here for like some months. I don't know, like 4 months, 5 months. We was also in Croatia together for a camp. Yeah, and that was my coaches. You know, they show me a lot. My training partner also Roberto Zoldik, Abus Magomedov, Lom Ali Eskiev. I also now joined from Lom Ali Eskiev, the wrestling coach, also MMA coach, Max Schwind. Is also very. I know him a long time now. He joined to our gym. You know, he's also now a UFD member coach. And yeah, he's really good, really good. He bring me the wrestling style, you know, this time a little bit better to the game in mixed martial arts, and I hope to didn't get on the ground this time, you know.
Yeah.
Because I love the striking, like I said, and yeah, I try to stand up this time because I also know MAF is a good. So my next opponent is a good grappler or ground fighter, so I try to be ready for this part in the game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's pretty cool. Your brother's fighting a few weeks after you as well. I'll have to look that up and check that out as well. So this will be your 4th UFC fight. You came into
Yes.
UFC with a 5-fight win streak, and you just came off a really impressive finish. So how do you take that positive win that you just had and turn it into another one here for a win streak in the UFC?
Yeah, I hope now to stay in the win streak. You know, I give everything in this, and yeah, I try to stay there. You know, I try only to stay in the UFC and to climb up as fast as I can. You know, good that I fight now in January. I think in my career I never had to fight so quick. February was the quickest. Now January, so I hope to get the win, and I hope to get in 2021. We didn't know the politics now with the pandemic in the world. So but I hope like 3 or 4 fights next year will be good. And when I finish all, I'm back in the winning streak. And yeah, and hope to reach the tops.
Absolutely. So you did mention it's Ramazan Amiv. He is a grappler, and that this is in Fight Island, correct?
Yes, this is in Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi. So you know he's a grappler, but how do you feel going into this fight against him?
Yeah, I prepare like always. You know, I try to grind on my striking, on my ground game, on my wrestling game. Now with the new coach Max Schwind, the wrestling coach, I'm also more comfortable now in my wrestling game. I move better. You know, I wrestle better. So my striking also by Ivan Hippolyte also grow up, and my grappling with Gleison Tibau was also a very amazing. Part to train with him, you know, because he's a UFC legend. And yes, for MAF, my plan is to hold him in the stance, you know, and yeah, try to beat him in the striking, you know. If it would be a finish, it will be great, you know. But I'm prepared for 3 rounds, 5 minutes, and yeah, I prepared for really well because he's a really tough fighter. He showed it in his last fight and the fight before also when he lose, you know. But he's a tough opponent, and I think he never been finished or he finished somebody, so he go all 3 in the rounds. And this I think also will be this time also that we will go all 3 rounds.
Yeah,
Would be also good, you know, to go 3 rounds because now 1 year no fighting, so I want to stay also a little bit more in the cage to feel this more, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. That's even if it's 15 minutes, if you get the W, you get more ring experience, right? So
yes, this is what I mean. Yes.
So what, leading up to a fight, you got your camp, you got a weight cut, you got the actual fight. What do you like to do after fights, just to relax and?
Yeah, I love to travel a lot, you know, but this time my brother fight a week or 10 days later. So I will stay this time in training with him, you know, to prepare him with him a little bit. And after our fights, I will say like this, you know, after the fight of my brother, I hope I can go some, you know, maybe to the States, you know, I was 3 years back in Miami. Last year I was in Phuket in Thailand. So I like to, to travel a lot, to see the world,
Yeah, that's awesome. And we
And-
need that after this year too.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have a family at all? Do you have
No, not my own. No.
not your own? Are you maybe in the future sometime?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Whenever it comes around, right?
Yes.
Our last segment's between rounds. So I'm going to ask you a question and you'll have an answer just based on that question. Okay.
Okay.
Your favorite food to eat?
Favorite food? Burger.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Oh yeah, soccer.
Yeah. Do you think Germany has a chance at the next World Cup or no?
I don't know, but Germany is really good in soccer, because they have a good strategy and tactic, But I think, I think they have a good chance to reach the last three,
I have German roots as well, and I follow them a lot. They didn't look good against Spain a month ago.
Yes. This time, I saw this. This was,
Not good. That's okay. Favorite getaway spot in Germany. So if somebody was never to been to Germany before, where would you suggest they go? Just check it out.
Here in Germany.
Yeah. What's a cool place to go to?
Here in Düsseldorf is very cool, But Berlin is also nice. I wasn't, it's close to me, but I wasn't so much in Berlin. But when I was there, I like it a lot. So the capital of Germany, Berlin, I think.
Cool. Favorite country in the world other than Germany?
Oh, Poland.
Poland. What kind of music do you like?
Techno, house, electro.
Favorite movie of all time?
Blow.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And just a couple projections for you. So since you're in the welterweight division, Gilbert Burns and Usman, who do you think takes that one?
Well, it's tough fight. Gilbert Burns show also very good in the welterweight division in the last times, but Usman is also a hard fight. This fight is 50-50, but I think Usman have more experience, to go also 5 rounds, championship rounds. So I think he would win by unanimous decision.
And what about a few days later? Who do you think wins between Edwards and Chimaev?
Oh, this is also a good one. Chimaev, when he has this, what he had, he has very confidence in this thing, what he do. But with Leon Edwards, he have now the first opponent who is also top ranked. Yeah, it's also, every fight is 50-50, because it depends on the day, how they stay up, with which minds they stay up. They have the same energy like yesterday, This is a lot, but I think Chimaev do it. Yeah,
And
because his wrestling game is
very strong. Last one, if GSP comes back, do you think he can beat Khabib?
Yeah. I think yes. I think he could do this. Yeah, because he has very good experience, a lot of experience, and very good strategy. And he's also big, but I don't know which way. If he can do the 155, is also a question. Or they do
Catch weight.
165 catch weight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it would be at if they make that fight. I still think that's going to happen this year, but we'll see what happens.
That would be great. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. January 16th, Zawada and Amiv. Who wins and how?
I think Zawada by TKO.
Like it. Can't wait to see it. Any sponsor shoutouts or social media to finish up?
Yes, I want to thank you, my UFD gym, my manager, Ivan Djakovic, Tommy Djakovic, 2 brothers, and also my brother and all coaches, my sponsors, Shut Up and Train, for good clothes, and Bios Nutrition for very good supplements. Also Easy Phytokraft, they make also good supplements, and every sparring partner also. Thanks for the rounds. Thanks for your time also. And when somebody forget, also family, friends, thank you very much. Thank you for the time, for the interview. And yes.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, especially during Christmas holidays. People are busy, right? So you're on the first card of 2021, And I know you're going to kick it off right. I know you're going to get a W, and we can't wait to watch that. So really appreciate you coming on today. David, Sagat, Zawada, this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Have a good night. Nice day. Ciao.
Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have 5-2 bantamweight. It's got a big fight coming up this week. UAE Warriors 15. Louis Mad Prince Jourdain. How's it going today?
Good, and you?
Good, thanks. So yeah, you know, you were born in Quebec. Just talk about some of the hobbies you had growing up and what got you into MMA ultimately.
No, I had three brothers, so we were always competitive, always doing sports, and actually they're three older than me, and the one just up from me is my brother Charles. And I was 12, he was 13, and there's a kickboxing academy that opened right next to our place, and he went to try, and he told me, so I went and got instantly hooked. I dropped soccer, I dropped hockey, I dropped everything just to do that full time.
Yeah, and so far it's worked out for you. You know, for this upcoming fight, who's in your corner, and what gym are you currently training out of back home?
We're training here and there. It's actually the gym are closed, so we're training here and there, and I'm currently with my head coach Fabio Olanda from BTT Canada, and it's only him because of the coronavirus issue. Like I could only brought one corner man, but it's way enough. We did good pad work, good grappling, and yeah, I'm with him, and I train out of BTT Canada.
Yeah, and we're ready to hear an announcement here in Ontario too about what's next for us. So I totally get you know, with the gyms closing, and I got a couple friends that they actually had to close their gyms permanently. So it's been a shitty last year, that's for sure.
Even we just had the curfew like this week, curfew at 8 p.m. That complicates everything even more.
Yeah, that might be coming to us too. So your career thus far, you're 5-2. Your last win came against Sebastian Ruiz in 2018, but you've had a couple boxing fights since then. Is the coronavirus part of the reason you haven't stayed active MMA wise, or no?
Yeah, and we've been trying to get me a fight for the last year, actually. Maybe even more than that. Like every event, like some event were getting canceled at the beginning of the pandemic, but also finding opponent is pretty hard because since there's less show, they try to put like more quality opponent, and like a lot of the guys trying to pad their record a little bit, and they're all saying no. So it's been super hard to find a fight. So it's a lot of circumstances, but yeah, the pandemic definitely didn't help.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, at one point you were supposed to fight Jesse Arnett, who ironically is on this card as well. You know, it's kind of ironic that you know, you're supposed to fight, but then you're both on a card all the way across the world. But you know, maybe we can see that fight down the line. But talking about this week, obviously you don't want to overlook that. Avli Johan Hamadov. Do you know anything about him? And if so, how do you feel like you match up against him?
Honestly, I just know his record. I didn't even know how to pronounce his name, actually.
Yeah, me neither. I just gave it a shot there.
I just received a call 10 days ago, and I asked both of my coach and my manager, is it a good fight for me? They all said yes, so I said yes, absolutely. I haven't seen any of his fight. I'm concentrating on myself, but you know, my two losses, I had trouble with grapplers. But it wasn't because they were that good. It was because mistake I made. I was pretty young, you know. I like the way I was managing my training regimen and all, but I think I figured it out. And just in the gym, and I'm training with super good wrestler, Olympic wrestlers. I'm training with black belts on the ground. So that's actually a really good fight for me mentally, because when I beat that guy, who's a super good grappler, my confidence is gonna skyrocket, and I'll get my feet wet again for fighting.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so looking forward to that on January 16th. You know, when you're leading up to a fight, I know this is like a, you know, kind of a short notice fight for you, but you know, training and then weight cut and then fight. What do you like to do after fights just to kind of let the load off and you've gone through obviously all the tough work and all that stuff. So what do you like to do to kind of celebrate after?
I like to train even more. I'm obsessed with the result, with everything regarding for training. Like we train with a super good trainer in Quebec, and like I like to get my weight up, my bench press, my squat, my cleans. I always like to improve, so I don't like to do nothing after a fight. Actually, when me and my brother were amateurs, like we were fighting on Saturday, and then on the Monday we were at the gym always. It's a little bit more complicated pro because we don't have shin guards, and we kick some shins, we kick some head, and like we're super bruised. So 1 week light training, and then keep training after that.
The way that you're describing that, I was going to say, like the next Monday, I could see the way you're saying that you would be getting back. And if there's any small mistakes that in your fight, you're trying to get better right away, right? Does that make sense?
Exactly. Because it's been a long time since I fought, but I really think that in 2021, like this is going to start the ball from rolling. Like I'm going to fight now, and then I'm going to get another one. And there's a lot of opportunity in front of me. I just gotta, like I said, get my feet wet. I haven't fought in a long time, so I just need to do it again and see how I feel, and like you said, correct the mistake.
Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good things, and I've seen a ton of good shows with UAE warriors like Xavier Alaoui we talked to before. He's had a couple fights there. It's a really well run promotion, so you got to be excited just to have this opportunity, but to be it seems like they're a world class organization, so that makes it much smoother going into it. Do you have any other hobbies other than fighting and training, something you like to do? Like I know you're from Quebec. Do you do any, skiing or snowboarding or any of that kind of stuff?
It would look like it, since we have snow and stuff like that, but not even. We're always training, so we're always sore. Where we don't even have time to do it. So I like playing video game, I guess, because it doesn't involve the. Me and Charles is such a geek, and video games together, and sometimes we fight in a game, so it's better than in real life with the brother rivalry. But just playing video games and keep training, watching fight every day. I think I watch like 20 fights every day, just obsessed with that.
Yeah, and that's going to pay off for you. So I just asked because I'd like to know a little bit more about you, but that just shows how invested you are in the sport. Our last segment here is called Between Rounds. There's going to be a question, and then you're going to give your best answer, okay?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of food to eat?
Sushis.
Favorite sport other than MMA?
Boxing.
If someone was never been to Quebec before, what would be a cool place that you would suggest for them to go to, a must-see?
A must-see, I would say not the sea, but go eat some poutine at a good place.
Favorite country in the world other than Canada?
Brazil. Looks amazing.
Favorite kind of music?
Rap.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oof, that's a tough one. Not a big fan of movie, man.
Okay, favorite video game. Favorite video game.
The Witcher.
And just a couple fights here, just to get your thoughts on who wins. McGregor, Poirier.
McGregor, he looks good.
Chandler, Hooker.
Hooker.
If GSP comes back and fights Khabib, who's got that one?
Oh, that's a tough one. My coach is chanting a name. Man, GSP is my hero, but that's actually a tough fight. Also because Khabib has been active. I don't know. I cannot say. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We'll call it a draw. Hamadov or Jourdain, and how this week?
Probably Jourdain. By KO, I'm gonna get him tired wrestling me, and I'm gonna let my punches fly, and that's gonna be a good night.
I can foresee that happening. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Shout out to GFL, Porte de Garage. It's actually my only sponsor. 10 days notice. They've always been with us, and Fabio Landa, man, for coming with me on 10 days notice too, man. BTT Canada, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So January 16th, big fight for the Mad Prince. It's going to be a big year, 2021, for the Jourdain brothers. I hope we kick it off with a big win for you. Good luck in your fight, Louis Jourdain. This is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Good luck.
Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, yeah.